Hey guys, hope y'all are doing well. Three quick things. One, we're going to have a Zoom discussion at 6 o'clock p.m. tonight. I will send you out a link. Hope you can join us. Secondly, thanks so much for those that responded to the text threads yesterday about things you miss most, what's most frustrating, and some of the biggest bummers during this time. And we're going to talk about those tonight a little bit. And thirdly, I'm going to give you just a couple, share a verse, couple of verses, and a little framework of kind of how our discussion is going to come out of tonight. And this is Jeremiah 29:11, and y'all know this verse probably, might have it on your fridge, but it's Jeremiah 29:11, and it says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. They are plans for peace, not disaster, to give you a future filled with hope. Now, we've all heard that voice, and we use it for all kinds of things, and lots of times I think it comes across maybe as more of an individual verse, like it's going to, help me pick a college, or it's going to help me decide who I should take to the prom, or just any number of things, but almost kind of as an immediate promise type thing. And I want to give you just a little context quickly on this, because this is like the other day when we were talking about exile. The Jews are in exile in Babylon, and so they have been taken out of their homeland into a foreign land, and they're in captivity. And so the verse right before that, verse 10, the Lord proclaims, when Babylon's 70 years are up, I will come and fulfill my gracious promise to bring you back home. So they're going to be there 70 more years. So this is not an immediate promise. This is a promise that God's working through, but they're not going back home for another 70 years. So I want us to think about that in the context of what we're experiencing now. It seems like this thing's going to go on forever. As I said the other day, it feels like our own little exile. We're in a strange place. It's a foreign land from our normal way of living. But it feels like it's going on forever, but it's not going to go on 70 years. But I just want us to know that we are in good company when we're going through this process. And I want us to hear what God said to the people in exile, that we're going to be there another 70 years. A few verses before, in verse 5, God says this. He tells his people, he says, go ahead and build houses and settle down. Cultivate gardens and eat what they produce. Get married, have children, then help your sons find wives and your daughters find husbands, in order that they too may have children. Increase in number so that you don't dwindle away. Promote the welfare of the city where I've sent you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it, because your future depends on its welfare. So God basically says, here's the deal. I know it's bad, but make the best out of a bad situation. I want you to build houses, settle down, put roots down, plant flowers and gardens, get married, have children, grandchildren, work, be involved in the community. He says even to pray for it, work for its good. So I want us to think about that in light of some of the struggles we're having and of this own little exile that we're experiencing. How can we continue to put down roots in this moment? How do we continue to live our lives even though it looks differently, even though it's in exile and we don't have access to some of the things that we did in our normal life? How do we plant trees? How do we continue to build relationships? How do we work for good even in this, for each other and others? So I want us to talk about that tonight, what it is that God is calling us to do, how we make the best of a bad situation that we're in. And we'll talk about that in light of some of the things that y'all shared. So we'll see you at 6 o'clock tonight. Hope y'all are doing well, and have a great afternoon. See you in a little while. Bye.